Hello and welcome. I'm Althea, your host. I'm the creator of the Pain-Free method. How to be pain-free by tuning into you. And you can find out more about that at painfreedom.co.uk. And on tonight's call, we have the amazing Sue Carberry, a very experienced astrologer. And for some crazy reason, I'm very grateful that she's offering a free monthly course to teach us how to do astrology, which I'm just blown over by that. And she's just such a clever girl, such a clever lady. And in addition to that, you have a WhatsApp group. So between these monthly Zoom calls, please come into the WhatsApp group if you're not already, because that's where Sue will be guiding you. You can ask your questions, so you can develop your astrology ability or refresh or revise or whatever you've come into the group for. So this is a monthly astrology class. It's free, and it's for beginners and refreshers. And on tonight's lesson, it's all about the age of Aquarius, what's all the hype about, and this month's Black Moon, what is it and how it affects us. So without further ado, over to you, Sue, all yours.
Hi guys. Well, I'll start with the black moon. The black moon is the second new moon. It's the opposite of a blue moon, which is an extra full moon. So what we're looking at is a new moon at early degrees of Virgo. So it's literally 1 degree. I put the chart up in the WhatsApp group, and we're looking at a chart. We're looking at a 1 degree moon and sun, and a new moon is a conjunction, and a full moon is an opposition. So when we're looking at, okay, how do we interpret what a moon phase does? Well, simple. What's in your chart at early mutables? If you have anything in early mutables, which is Pisces, Virgo, and Gemini and Sagittarius, then the full moon will be hitting you in a negative way. If you have something in the beginning of Earth, Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo, that's a trine, so that'll be easy. Now, moon phases are very short, they're literally hours, but usually if you're affected by a moon phase, it will be the applying, which is the full moon's here, so it's coming up here. You get the new moon or the full moon in the opposition, then it passes over and moves away. So when it's applying, coming towards, that's where the pressure builds. Shared file.
Does it not say the? It might be better to. It might be better to upload on your side, Sue. So it's it
It's
could
in
be
the group.
yeah. I'm not sure if is everybody in the group
I can share it. I've just got to go back. I gotta.
or share screen or share it. Share screen.
Mm-hmm.
I make you the co-host.
Yes, you do need to do that.
You got it.
Yeah, right. So we're always looking at, you're always looking at something applying. Share, right. I've got to go for, right. Right, you can also share it. No, because I need to share it. Documents. Where did I shared it before out of WhatsApp.
Let's see if I can do it. I think if you can get it to share your side, because then you can sort of point your mouse at everything and
I
share.
know.
So it'd be better if you're able to. Um, if you download it and save it to something, and then you can upload it to Zoom or just share it on the. If you just go to WhatsApp, click on it, it'll go big, and then you can share your screen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've got to get out of my. Right. I did it before. How the.
If you literally go to WhatsApp on your screen and it'll
Yeah, I
show.
can't. Exit full screen.
This looks good.
Can you guys see this?
Yep. And then if you
Oh,
that's it.
stop.
If you put
I'm, yeah,
that's the one. And then if you maximize it,
I've got to find the chart.
if you click the down button and it'll come up. If you click the big button, big arrow, and it'll go straight to the end.
It's not at the end though.
Yeah, it's near the end. Yeah, I know, but it's near the end.
Can you see that, guys?
Yep. And if you maximize that screen in the box at the top, that's it.
Right, okay.
Fantastic.
To move this out of the way. Right. See how that's 0 degrees there? That what you're doing then to see whether that is affecting you, you go down to 90 degrees, so early Sagittarius, 0 degrees there. That would be a square. If you're over here at 0 degrees of Pisces, it's an opposition. If you're over here and we have Uranus squaring this black moon at 1 degree of Gemini, if you have anything here, then this is affecting you. That
So,
could
so,
make,
so, so sorry, so we've got our own chart there, and then we've got this chart on the other side.
okay, this chart that is on the screen is the chart of the black moon this Saturday, 23rd of August at 6 minutes past 7 in the morning. This is the chart for this black moon. Your chart is not here. You have your chart by your side and you see in your own chart
Yeah,
whether
what are we
you
looking?
have anything at these points.
Right,
That's why you should have your chart with you so you can look at this and then look at your own chart.
absolutely, absolutely.
Unless you know it intimately. Now, I have a 3 degree Pisces sun. So my sun is here and it's opposite the new moon. So that tells me that my sun will be affected by the new moon and the square to Uranus. And then you read where this falls in your own chart as to where it falls in your own chart is what area of your life is affected. My sun over here is what is affected. Does that make sense to you guys?
So that's because it's in the position, the opposite position. That's what's affected on the because it's in that opposite position.
Okay, I'll start again. My
Maybe it's
sun
just
is,
me.
yeah, my sun is here. What does your sun represent? Your vitality. It represents your energy. It's yang. It's your personality. It's who you are. The new moon is opposite it. So it will affect this point in my chart by opposition. And what is opposition? It is a projection. So we have the sun and the moon together, the moon representing emotions and the sun energy. So this is intensity. So it's opposite my sun. So I could be experiencing some emotional ups and downs, or I could be experiencing some energetic ups and downs because the moon always represents emotions and the home because it's Cancer's rulership. And then to make matters even tougher, we have Uranus here at 1 degree. So that makes a square. And what's a square? Does anyone remember? Shout out.
Difficulties.
Yeah, irreconcilable differences. So you've got Uranus, which is the rebel. It's the where do you non-conform? Where do you rebel? Squaring a new moon, emotions. And then if my sun's over here, I could be quarreling. I could be talking at cross purposes. I could be bringing unpredictability of emotions. So it could be an emotional time for me. That's how you read a moon. And the thing with new moons and full moons, they literally only last hours because 2.5 days and it'll be over here. It moves through so quickly.
So a quick argument and off you go.
Well, well, the thing is with Uranus here, it could be misconstrued communication or misunderstanding with emotions. Yeah. So, and in my chart, this is my 10th house. So I could have an argument with the boss. The sun is over here in my 7th house. Could be a miscommunication with a loved one or a partner. And this is my 1st house. So I could even misunderstand myself or be misunderstood what I'm trying to say. Or it could be absolutely nothing. It could be a storm in a teacup and nothing happened at all. So
Has anyone, sorry, Sue, has anyone seen
that's,
something in their charts that they want to ask about?
Um, Sue, I have absolutely no way of understanding how to apply what you've just said to what's going on in my chart
why.
because probably because I can't get my head around where the houses are in relation to
Okay.
the new moon.
Okay. See each of these pieces here. That is a house. See how you've got the numbers around here?
Yeah,
Okay. This is a snapshot in the sky.
yeah,
Okay. At this point in time of 7 a.m. on Saturday morning.
right.
So if I was born at that time, this would be my natal chart.
Okay,
So these numbers are the houses. So the full moon, new moon, falls in the 12th house. But how do you apply it to yourself? Well, you overlay your chart on top of this. So, okay, well, and I know my chart. I've got my ascendant here. I've got my Jupiter here. I've got my North Node and my MC here. I've got my moon and then all my other Pisces stuff going down here. I've got nothing in Aquarius. I've got my Venus is here. So that's how you apply it. When you know your chart, then
okay.
you
So, can I just say, in my chart on in the 12th house, I've got nothing.
it doesn't
So,
matter. Look at this chart. There's nothing in the 3rd house, but look where this line is. It's ruled by Scorpio. It doesn't matter if a house is empty. It means that you're in this chart. If this was a person's chart, I'd be saying, okay, the 3rd house is ruled by Scorpio. What rules Scorpio? Pluto. Pluto's over here. So Pluto is in Aquarius. So the 3rd house has a Plutonic Aquarian energy to it. Your IC is in Sagittarius. Where's the ruler of Sagittarius? It's Jupiter. Oh, look, Jupiter's over here in Cancer. Wonderful. So this person, whoever they are when they're born at this time, will have a Sagittarian but a Cancerian energy to their fourth house. Empty houses does not mean they're useless or of no value. Does that make sense to you, Ariana? Hello?
So to be clear, I then look at my third house and I go by whatever the sign is for that house.
But now we're moving into a personal reading with you. We're looking at what this new moon means and how you read it in your chart. Your stuff is here. So all of your stuff is over here, if I remember your chart. So
Yeah.
this probably lands in your 12th house, or it lands in your first house. If the new moon lands in your 12th house, that means that you're going to probably do a deep dive into your subconscious, or something's going to bubble up in your subconscious, because that's what the 12th house is. If it's in your
Okay.
first
Okay,
house,
I'm with you. I'm with you. Okay,
you got it.
I've got it. So if it occurs in the first house, for
What
argument's sake,
Okay, what does the first house represent, Ariana?
oh no, now you're putting me on the spot, Sue.
Yeah, because this is the way you learn. You have the information within you. Dig deep and find it.
Yeah, no,
Remember,
I'm looking to see what
no.
that symbol means.
What does the first house represent? Come on.
Well, that's Aries, isn't it?
Let's go collect £200.
Okay.
So what does Aries represent?
It's action.
Correct. What rules,
Fire.
Mark? What rules it? What rules Aries?
Which planet rules it?
Yes.
Pass and Neptune, maybe.
No. What is the most aggressive planet?
Oh,
The
the
god
most
of war.
Mars.
Correct. So when you put it all together, the first house is about your physical being. It's ruled by Aries. Doesn't matter what's on the ascendant, it always represents your physicality. It always represents I am.
Okay.
There you go. You see? Dig deep.
Well, interesting.
I'm not going to always answer the questions. I'm going to push you to find it within you. Because when
Thank
you
you.
answer the questions yourself, it retains more than if I just go, oh yeah, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Anyone else got
Brilliant.
any
Thank you.
questions about a new moon? Welcome. Are we done this new moon now, guys?
I think you could just keep talking and I'll keep absorbing. That'll be my position on this. I don't know what this
Okay. Okay. So that's how you read a transit or how something is affecting you. And you read it by looking at what is in the sky and applying it, overlaying it. What is really good is if you have a transparency and then you put your two charts on and turn it around. So I would turn this around to put my ascendant here at 6 degrees, and then that would show me where all of this falls into my own natal chart. But that's why I can't stress enough. Learn your 12 signs. They correlate to your 12 houses. Learn your planets. It's and learn it in key in the WhatsApp group. I've got loads of keyword documents based on positive and negative, so you can expand on things. And then what I also would do is recommend is get your colored pens and pencils out and start compiling your own list, writing things out. Has anyone see any strange design in the geometry on this chart?
It
Because
looks like
there's some,
an envelope. Sorry, Althea.
No, no. There's something in here that we haven't encountered.
Is it because it's a pyramid in there?
Well, it's that technically I wouldn't, because that's a 10 degree and that's a 1 and that's a 1. But that big blue triangle in there, the equilateral triangle, is considered a grand trine. But this is 10 degrees. I wouldn't say it's a grand trine. But what we do have, look at these green lines. Those green lines, that's called a yod, which is a Hebrew word. And a yod is formed 1 degree, 0 degree, 1 degree. They're sextile, so that's 2 signs apart. So that's a positive or a more harmonious blend of energies. And then this is what's called an inconjunct, which isn't an opposition, because an opposition would be here or over here. So it's quite a difficult thing to have in your chart, a yod, and it's not very common because there's 0. So you've got 2 zeros, a 0 and a 1 and another 1. So it's tight.
And what does that mean for the world? So this presumably is how the world is affected now.
Yeah, but it's more individual. I mean, a moon phase can be a storm in a teacup, a high tide, a low tide, because moon governs water balance. That's an astronomical thing. Our tides are governed by the moon, which also equates to our bodies being governed by the moon. But spring high tides always happen on a full moon when there's more pressure. New moons are new beginnings. So it's interesting that we're having peace talks with our wonderful leaders from Russia, Ukraine, and the orange Cheeto man from America. So it's interesting that we've got interesting talks going on. But yeah, more about that with the age of Aquarius.
Okay.
So that's the black moon.
So if I and why is it called the Black Moon?
Because it's the third or the second new moon. It's when you have more than the average, and they black moons is something like every 33 months. And you've got the full moons of the blue moon is an extra full moon, and a black moon is the extra new moon. So new beginnings.
Mm. And just to clarify, if I've put my chart exactly like, I mean, you talked about something else about moving it around, but for the first stage, if I put my chart on top of this and I just look at it exactly the same position, do I?
Mhm.
And then I can see
I
where the moon is and I go opposites and to have a look what's
have this overlay your own chart. So put your ascendant here and then place
Ah,
this over the top of your own chart, like a transparency. And that will
okay.
show you the areas of your own chart where this will hit you. I don't pay much attention to moon phases because I'm not a
Okay.
Cancerian, and I don't have a strong Cancerian or moon aspect in my chart. But someone who has a lot of Cancer there, or a lot of even a lot of Pisces, I do, but I don't feel that the moon phases affect me. And if you think the full moons or new moons affect you, then keep a diary. Keep an eye on it. See where it's going. I generally have more problems during the Virgo phase of the year because of all my Piscean stuff. You will always have a time of year where things always feel a bit out of sorts, and mine's Virgo season because the sun is opposite my 6 things in Pisces. So I can get irritated and I can just think, oh, go away. So that's how you read moon phases. Anybody else got any questions or want anything discussed about the moon? No? Right.
You've I'm sure there's so many details, and I'm a beginner like some of you here, and but I feel like I just let it pour over me, and I'm hoping it'll absorb.
Well, the thing is, it's such a huge, huge subject. And I've been working with astrology since I was 16, and I'm 60 in February. It's something that I have been actively, I find it easy, relatively easy, and I love it. And I got into it because of my difficult chart. So, yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful. And if you do want to hear about Sue's story, her life story, there is also a video all about. So you find it on the recordings page that you'll see on my website. All the recordings, all from all the lessons, and all about Sue, the recording of Sue's life story. Do have a look at that if you'd like to.
Okay, have we done the Black Moon, or is there any other questions before we move on to the Age of Aquarius?
Let's go for it.
Anyone? Okay. I did a bit of a dive down into what exactly is the Age of Aquarius, and I realized that the ages of mankind go backwards like your North Node goes backwards. We're actually would be our next era would be Capricorn. So when you look at the timeline and you go back, and I was looking at Taurus because Egypt has bulls, the Apis bulls. You had the Minoan civilization with bulls. You have modern day Hindu, the cow is sacred. That's the time of Taurus. The feminine was prominent, fertility was prominent, and it's ruled by Venus. So you had lots of female goddesses and deities, and you had lots of enjoyment and a lot of fulfillment, and a lot of the land was fertile. Then I thought, okay, and having been to Egypt, I also noticed that then they moved into ram's heads. You've got a corridor of ram's heads, so that's the age of Aries. So what are we looking at Aries? We're looking at more patriarchy, domination, empire building, laws, rules, regulations, submission, and domination from a strong masculine force, which is what the old empires were. So all the major empires, and then it all finished, came to a bit of a close with the rise of Christianity. And Rome conceded to Christianity. They tried to eradicate it. So what's the age of Pisces? The age of Pisces is the age of faith. And the age of, that was a lot of cruelty. And they then also removed the goddess. So when you look at Christianity and you're looking at Islam, where's the goddess in those faiths? There isn't any. They're subjugated. So they used faith, they removed science, they removed the feminine, and it was all about the masculine domination. And Christ was the fisher of men. The symbol for Christianity is the fish, it's Pisces. And I'm looking out at the world, and I'm looking at, where is religion today? Is there a place for religion? And I'm looking at it going, fuck no. Excuse my language, people. Because when you're looking at religion, subjugates, separates the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Where's the feminine there? The feminine has been eradicated. And what are we looking at now? We're looking at the death throes of the faith-based. And when something is starting to die, it's almost like they hold on. Now, the way you drink water from a stream is you have to gently cup. So if you're going to offer somebody a faith, then you gently offer it to them. You don't say you will. And I'm looking at the Western world, and faith is in a state of crisis with all of the abuse, all of the misappropriation, and the feminine. And I look at America, and there's all of this control coming from the masculine, the patriarchy. So when I look at the Aquarian age, one of my philosophies is I'm equal opportunity. Anybody can be an asshole. I don't care where you're from, how you identify. if you're an unpleasant person, you're an unpleasant person. That is Aquarian. They don't pigeonhole people. It's all about your individual faith and acceptance, but it's not faith, though. The Aquarian age would be more based in scientific fact, open communication, and individualizing. Not this blind faith with hellfire and brimstone. We're going to be moving into a more fact-based, more science-based, a more open and inclusive way of living. So the age of Aquarius started, well, there isn't a line in the sand. But when I look at the 1900s, the turn of the century, there were very little cars, it was steam. And by the end of the century, we had the internet. We had plane travel, we had jets, we had nuclear weapon. In that 100 years, humanity has changed. And the churches are losing the faith-based. The youth of today are, what is their church? Well, it's on Google. Where it's, for good or ill, it's going to be an interesting time to be alive. And Gen X, which is myself, we straddle the two worlds of pre-internet and the internet. It's certainly going to get interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if lines on map move. America has had it, I would say. And the time of patriarchy domination is coming to an end. But the feminine has to learn a lesson from that and not turn into the dominant, toxic feminine either. We're in a state of flux. And what I do is I sit and I watch. I don't get angry because everything is the way it's meant to be. It's always the coldest and the darkest just before the dawn. Humanity is being asked, choose love or choose fear. And it's as simple as that. So I choose love and I don't get fearful. I watch what's going on because at the end of the day, what can I do? Nothing. If I want love and I want peace, then I have to be it internally. Happiness is an inside job. And the thing about Aquarians is they can be very contained, almost cold. And I sat with that and I thought, there's only one religion or way of life that does not proselytize and never has, and that's Judaism. And I looked at how old it is, and it's 4,000 years old. So I'm thinking, where does that go back to? It goes back to the time of Taurus. It's on the brink, it's on the sort of like it would be the join between Taurus and Aries, because there's no way the Jewish faith would even entertain the virgin birth. And it's really interesting. They've never proselytized, but the Catholics and the Muslims have. And then I thought, well, where does Hindu come from? That's got to be the time of Taurus because of the goddesses Tara, Kali. And that's been twisted during the Aries phase and then during the Pisces as well. Where does Buddhism come from? Well, that was again, same sort of time. So we're going into a technological time. And whether you like it or not, it's going to be interesting. We're not going to live long enough to see the full transformation. We're at the beginning, we're at grassroots. But that's why we chose the time to be born. And then why is it that so many women are choosing not to have children as well? They're stepping out of that trad role. They're stepping into their own individual power. Women are supporting women. We've also got this whole trans debate, and I've been watching that. And I see that as almost like another form of misogyny and patriarchy. Squeezing women out of women-only spaces, expecting lesbians to sleep with trans women who don't have the genitalia that they're attracted to. It's fascinating. I don't get involved with the whole Gaza and Israel thing. What is the purpose of that? It's almost like humanity needs to be so disgusted with each other that we stand up and we rise up like we did in the 60s and we take to the streets. Where's that energy gone? the music's crap. Nothing rattles us anymore. There's this level of complacency. And it's almost like the pendulum has to go to the extreme of what's going on in Gaza or what's going on in Russia and the Ukraine for us to actually feel something. But that's just my opinion. How do you guys feel? Have you done a deep dive into the age of Aquarius? Because change is never, ever easy or pain-free.
I know the song. Age of Aquarius.
Yep.
And I see a lot. I mean, as a therapist, I hear again and again and again. I was listening out for what you said about individualism, and I see that in Aquarius. But I've heard so much about going within, listen to your instincts, hear your own
Mm-hmm.
thoughts, follow your own guidance. How
Mm-hmm.
do you recognize that? Do you see that
Oh,
in
that's
Aquarius?
simple. That's a really simple answer. Pisces is about go to church and talk to the priest. Aquarius is go within and talk to your own inner God. There is no
Thank you.
separation between God and guru. You are both. You go into the still and the quiet, and the answers are there. The old Pisces way is go and pay the priest, or go and pay the rabbi, or go and sit in the church, pay homage. Pay homage to self by feeding yourself the good food, meditate, exercise. We
I
have the
see that
answers
all
within
over.
us. Yeah, people are waking up and they're thirsty and they're lost, which is why young men are following Islam because they've lost their place in society. And maybe that's a good thing, maybe that's a bad thing, but it is what it is. Change is, birthing a baby into this world is a painful, messy business. And we're birthing society. We are being asked categorically, without question, choose. Do you choose love or do you choose fear? If you choose love, then it starts with self-love. And the answers are within. We just got to sit in the quiet. But we look externally because we've forgotten how to be quiet and still and go in.
Mm,
Because the
absolutely.
world is all about out there. I've got influences. Oh, it's so fast.
And what's everyone else's opinions about the different ages? Oriana, did you want to say something?
Yes, so very interesting to hear what you're saying, Sue. Um, I I do wonder if it's not that we are fatigued because we've got this incredible amount of information coming at us all the time
Mm,
from all directions, and
mm.
it's too much to process.
Then don't. You see, one thing, I've had a brain cyst, a 450 mil brain cyst, drained. My brain is a bit weird, and I just store stuff. And I am dyslexic and not dyspraxic, but I am dyslexic because I can't see numbers and letters in my mind. So reading is tiring for me, but sitting having discussion, I'm just like, and I just suck stuff in. If you can't comprehend, stop trying. And I look at the kids today, there are more autistic ADHD kids now than there ever has been.
So what is
Because,
that about in your
well,
understanding?
my understanding is it's the next level of evolution because we need to change how we teach our kids because the old ways of teaching in schools is not working anymore. But the institutions haven't caught up. Think of your own childhoods because we're all women of a certain age. Where were you when you got home from school? You're outside playing. Your world was smaller because you didn't have a mobile phone with all this information about what's going on globally. You may not have even known what was going in the city because you lived in a village. We are bombarded with this information, and these kids, their brains are developing differently. The food, the environments, and school, and the way we teach our children has to change because the kids are different. There's no two ways about it. I haven't got children, but I've got godchildren, and I work with people, and I see how kids are, and I talk to kids, and it's like the world needs to change, and they're the ones that are going to bring in a lot of these changes. So I look at the Gen Zs and I look at the next generation down, and they're our future. And if you think we're lost, we're not, because they will change it to suit themselves. We're the old guard. We're the ones that will need retiring if we don't change. And if you can't take the information in, stop trying.
So, Sue, can you say to us, thank you so much.
That's
Thank
okay.
you. Can you tell us about what's the energy of Aquarius, of
Okay.
like from astrologically?
Aquarius, astrologically, Aquarius is ruled by its old ruler is Saturn. Saturn is Kronos, or Father Time. Saturn is hard work. Saturn is cold. Saturn is detached. Saturn is taking on responsibility. And then when Uranus was discovered, it was attributed to Aquarius. And Uranus for me is the rebel. So Uranus is subculture. When you look at history, there has always been a teenage subculture. And what do teenagers do? I hate you, mum. I don't want to be anything like you, dad. You suck. They always rebel against the norm. That is their job. And through that act of rebellion, they bring change. And they help us to think differently because they're seeing it differently. So wherever you have Uranus in your chart is where you rebel. So when I look at the age of Aquarius, I look at the young ones, because they're the ones that are the harbinger of change. And they're going to be bringing in change via technology, because Uranus also rules technology. It rules AI, it rules computers, because Alan Turing and was the godfather of computing. That all came about when Uranus first went into Gemini back in 1942. That 8-year transit of Uranus going through Gemini was a harbinger of change in our communication, how we communicated, which was electronic communication, telegraph wires, but also wireless. And that transit, which we spoke about last time, finished in 1949, which was and just got in the publication of 1984 by George Orwell. So when you're looking at the age of Aquarius, they're bucking the trend for people conforming to the group. So it's all about individuals. And if you look at the young of today, they've got individual expression within their own group. And it's outrageous. Purple hair, pink hair, their rainbow flags, the whole trans activist, the whole trans thing. I'm not happy with the diminishing of women's rights within those groups, but they're certainly rattling cages. They're making people question everything about what it is to be a woman, what it is to be a man. They're bringing color. When you look at the trans guys, they are all covered in color. They don't wear suits to an office. They turn up there's a barista with piercings and tattoos and purple hair. How wonderful. Why, the whole thing of going to work in the city, wearing a suit and getting a job for life, all of that's gone. And
Thank you
so
so
many people
much.
lament,
Incredible.
so many people lamented. It's sort of like, but that's what our grandparents said, you know? And if something has to die before something else can be grown, a door has to be shut, water has to be spilled. You can't fill an already full cup.
And Sue, can I ask, how, so if someone's looking at, if you're looking at your own chart, how do you understand that, how do you relay that on the coming of Aquarius? How do you relate that to who you are?
Well, I can only speak for myself, which is the way it should be. My Uranus, I was born in 1966, so I have the Uranus-Pluto conjunction 17 and 18 degrees of Virgo, which was the summer of love, when all, it was the Woodstock era. That was when I was born. So I was born into that energy. So I'm naturally an agent provocateur. I will play the devil's advocate in discussion. I've never felt like a round peg in a round hole. I've always felt like a square peg in a round hole in my
And
life.
will that be everybody who's born in
No.
66?
Well,
Why
I
you?
mean, that is a generational. So everyone born in 64, 65 and 66 will have that close conjunction. But it is within orb for about a 5-year period because they're so slow moving. So everyone born in that era will carry those two planets' energy plus Neptune in Scorpio. They're generational planets. In other words, they take so long to go through a sign that you'll have, like Pluto can take 40 years in a couple of signs, 14, 15 for others. So they're generational. So it's something that unless it hits your personal planets, then you can see how it activates. But it's more to do with what house. This is my opinion. Where does that house, where does that conjunction sit? Mine's in my first house. So what's the first house? It's about you.
I am.
And what does Uranus do? Constantly change, reinvent, remake, and rebel. And Pluto constantly remakes and transforms. I've got those in my first house. That's why people, when they meet me, quite often go, ooh, and take a step back because I can, and I know that I can, and I'm very forthright and straightforward. So I know sometimes I have to pare myself back because I can be too much, or I just go, hey, this is the way I am. As long as I come from
That's it.
compassion and kindness, and I'm not spiteful and vindictive and sort of like mean with it. I have told clients the world doesn't revolve around you, pull your head out of your ass. And when I'm working with them doing trauma work and counseling, because we don't have time. I'm not going to mollycoddle victim, but then I don't get the clients that need that or require that. We always end up with the friends, the clients, and that we need to reflect us as well. Because I want that. I want someone to tell me if I'm being too victim. I'm dynamic. That's my energy. But at the same time, if someone's in grief or extreme pain, I can hold that energy too, because that's what those outer planets can do. I can whip
It's
things.
it's challenging, isn't it? It's kicking it up. It's opposition, and that's in your first house. So I've got it in my second house, which
Then you
is
watch second house then. Come on.
um, looking
That's okay.
resources and
Yeah,
self-esteem,
it's Taurus.
values.
I have my possessions. So that means with Pluto and Uranus in your second house, it could be that your finances are changeable because Pluto transforms. You may have 2 or 3 different ways of earning money through your lifetime. It may mean that you have to work hard. You may earn money out of strange ways because Uranus is the bit of a rebel. So the likelihood is that you weren't destined to work in a suit in the city.
No chance.
There you
I
go.
tried for one day. That was that. But
Well, I
I
was in IT, which is perfect for Uranus because Uranus rules computers and IT, new technology.
I find that my finances are feast to famine. Sometimes
Yeah,
they're fantastic and sometimes they're dire.
yeah,
Would
that's
that be
Uranus.
Uranus?
Uranus
Uranus.
is unpredictable. It's unpredictability. If you want steady and reliable, then you go with Saturn. If you want boring life, go with Saturn. If you want an interesting unpredictability, that's Uranus. That's Uranus's
But
energy. It always
this
comes in and shakes things up.
and this is so helpful, isn't it? Because knowing that now, knowing that concrete fact now, because I'm sort of living my crazy life for finances
Hmm.
like that, and it's stressful. So I could
Okay, I'll ask you a
save, couldn't
question,
I?
Althea.
If
I'll
I
ask you a
I,
question.
I could regularly save, and that would help me with the dips.
Yeah, here's a question for you.
Okay.
If you could change your job and earn a regular income, what would you do?
I
There you
struggle to
go.
answer that question
There
because
you go. There you go. So you can't do it. You couldn't work in a barista. You couldn't work in an office. You couldn't do 9 to 5 because you got Uranus there. You thrive and you love the unpredictability and changeability, the fact that you're dealing with different people all the time. You love it. So just accept it
and save
because you
money to keep me
and
out of
yeah,
the
and you're
difficult
good at it.
times.
You're good at it. So go with
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
How about anybody else?
Anyone
Where's
else?
your Uranus and Pluto? Or is that
Anyone
the right
else
question?
want while we're
Is that the
here? Because we're
is that the
pretty
right
much
question? Sorry,
yeah,
Sue, is
don't
that the
do
right question
because
to ask? Where's your Pluto and Uranus? Is that
yeah.
correct?
I mean, we're all probably of a certain age, so we've probably all got it in either the sign before of Leo, 15 years. But we've pretty much done the age of Aquarius. It's sort of like sit back, get the popcorn out, and don't buy into it. That is the biggest thing. Don't buy into the scaremongering. Get your popcorn out, whether it's salt or sweet or a combination, and stay still, go within and write it out
And
because
Claire,
you
did you want
can't
to say
stop it.
something? Did you want to say something, Claire? You've unmuted.
Oh, no, 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 I'm fine.
Okay.
Sue, can I just ask what the prevailing pattern was in 1955?
1955. Excuse me, I got to walk away from my screen for a minute because I've got to get my ephemeris. I can still hear you because I'm on hands-free. 1955. Were you born then?
Yeah.
My lovely? Okay. Do you have your chart in front of you?
I do.
Then tell me, what is it? Where's
Sorry,
your...
I have to.
Oh, no, you don't know the glyphs
I
and
do
the...
have it, but I've just got to find it again.
That's okay. I've beaten you to it. 1955.
I love that image behind you, by the way. That's amazing.
You can thank Althea for that. She found it.
I put it
Okay,
together. I put it
1955.
together actually. Oops.
1955 started with Pluto in Leo, back end of Leo, Uranus in the back end of Cancer. So they're semi-sextile, they're one sign apart, and Neptune was in Libra. And then 1955 finished with January 56 with Pluto in almost exactly the same spot, 26 Leo to 28. So it moved 2 degrees in 1 year. And then, that was when Neptune went into Scorpio. Was at the beginning, was it December 55, and Uranus was in the beginning of Leo.
So what year was 1960?
1960.
Yeah.
That started with Pluto at 6 degrees of Virgo retrograde, and Uranus was at 20 degrees of Leo retrograde, and Neptune was at 8 degrees of Scorp. And it finished with Pluto only moving 2 degrees at 8 degrees of Virgo, Uranus 25 of Leo, and Neptune at 10 of Scorp. So you haven't got Pluto-Uranus conjunction for a little wee while yet. It doesn't ramp up until about even 64. It's not there. It's a 6 degrees apart. But when you have them tight conjunction where they're at the same degree or 1 degree apart, that's when the magic happens. That's why people in my age group, 50, born in 50, in 65, 66 and 67, those 3 years, we all have the intensity of the Virgo, Pluto, Uranus. And when you're looking at historically what happened, you had nuclear weapons, nuclear medicine, Pluto, people on the street. You had advances in health and hygiene, specifically around women's health, women's liberation. You had the whole social Martin Luther King going on, and apartheid ending in America, and the whole, I've forgotten the words for it, but the social outpouring of change. So it was a dynamic time in world history. You also had the moonwalks, exploration to the moon. You had lots of things going on. And with Neptune in Scorpio, you also had a lot of drugs going on. What is it? Tune in, trip out. So you had a lot of LSD floating around. So you had a lot of trippy music. Always look at the music of the era and it'll tell you what's going on. Every subculture has music. And the soundtrack to the Pluto Uranus conjunction in the Summer of Love was Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, the Beatles. You had all that psychedelia going on. And
That
we had
is
one of the,
such a
yeah.
cool concept to look at the music for the time.
Oh yeah, when you look at the music, it tells you what's going on in the subculture. Go back to turn of the century and everything was very it was all hidden, the speakeasies. You had, oh God forbid, you had jazz. And you had the flappers in the 20s, and you had prohibition in America, and everything was hidden. And then you had like the black influence of the blues coming through as the same time as the jazz. So up in the east coast of America, in Detroit and Chicago, you had a lot of jazz, and then down in the south you had the blues coming through. But you also had the jazz in New Orleans, which was different to what was going on up on the west coast. And we always look to America, which is really weird because there was a lot going on in the UK as well. But the UK really came into its full with music during the Summer of Love and the Beatles. America had Elvis and we had the Beatles over here. And then, of course, from that came, they changed the face of music. But so did Howlin' Wolf, and so did B.B. King, and so did Robert Johnson, so did Miles Davis and Coltrane. When you're looking at how society changed, always turn to the music. I mean, Mozart was an absolute rebel in his day. And you look at Wagner, it's like, fuck, what was going on there? Sibelius, Tchaikovsky. And then you've got Puccini, and you're looking at the music and you can see the subculture of the time. It's all there. And I look at the music now, what is it? It's sampling the old stuff. It's using AI technology. We've got a lot of AI music coming out, which is not good. I'm not a fan. But you've also got AI art. There's a lot of people that aren't using paints and brushes anymore. They're using the computer or they're integrating AI or digital art. And we're using open spaces like what Banksy's doing. We're doing more, I'd say, thought-provoking performance art. It's all there. You just got to crawl out from under a rock and put your head above a parapet and have a look, which isn't always nice because the world's not a nice place right now. But it never is when it's in the middle of a massive upheaval, shift, and change. Remember, guys, we chose to be born at this time. We chose to bear witness to this. Whatever skills you brought onto this planet at this time, whether you're a healer, a storyteller, or a story holder and keeper, or you're a mum or a grandmother, it doesn't matter. You chose to be here to bring whatever gifts it is that you brought.
Thank you, Sue. That's amazing. We have come to the top of the hour now, and so
Well,
I'm going to bring it to a close. That's it's a good conversation, isn't it? And to talk about what's coming in and how it affects us, the age of Aquarius. It's fascinating. You have so much knowledge and information. It kind of connects us to over the ages. It's amazing.
my
So thank you.
brain.
Amazing. So this is not where the lesson stops, guys. Do come into the WhatsApp group and continue. Sue's helping us between the calls, very generously between the calls in the WhatsApp group. So make sure you come into the WhatsApp
You're
group.
welcome, Lee.
I'm going to post this recording, and you'll see all the recordings. I'll post the link into the WhatsApp group. Are you all able to come onto WhatsApp? Are you all in it already, everyone? Claire, are you? I know Thea, you're in it, Claire, and Leah. I think you're in it, aren't you? I think you are. Yeah, fantastic. So anybody who's listening to this, make sure you come into the WhatsApp group because that's where it's all happening between the Zoom calls. You can book straight on to the next to all the Zoom to all the classes if you want to, or just do it as and when they come up and as and when you're available. And please come and ask Sue questions, be guided with your questions, whether it's Age of Aquarius or anything about astrology. And both Sue and I are in the group. So I just want to say thank you so much, everybody, for joining us on your astrology journey. I know I found it very, very fascinating. It's, as you say, so it's a massive subject. So I'm just letting it absorb. And I really appreciate your guidance. And thank you so much to Sue, our wonderful astrologer, for this month's class. She is doing a special offer during the time of this course, which is her private um, one-to-one chart reading is normally £90, and she's offering it for £70 during the time of this course. But you can also come into the WhatsApp and learn to read your chart within the group as well.
Mm.
So either way,
If you don't mind personal things being shared in the group, I'm happy to work within the group. But bear in mind that a chart is personal to you. If you don't want things shared, then don't put it in the group. And I base every call on what feedback I get from the group. So if there's anything you want to talk about, like today's subject, then whack it in the group and I'll formulate the chat around and the talk around that. But
fantastic.
I love my subject and I love talking about it, as you can tell. So hit me
Thank
up.
you.
Go well,
Amazing.
guys.
Thank you so
Thank
much, Sue,
you,
and everyone
Sue.
for
Thanks,
joining us.
Althea.
You're
Welcome.
welcome.
See you in the group. Take care for now.
Take care. Bye.